is pulling out of the floor competition also, in addition to the uneven bars and the vault competition. So we'll discuss that, and we want to welcome everybody on our social media platforms to the African History Network show. It's Sunday, August 1st, 2021, and we are live. I'm your host, Brother Michael Imhotep. Simone Biles has had to pull out of the floor competition. U.S. gymnastics superstar Simone Biles had to withdraw from the final floor event, USA Gymnastics said on Sunday. That leaves Biles only one event left to possibly compete in, the balance beam contest on Tuesday. We know she's focusing in on her mental health. Mental health is extremely important. We're going to give you an update on that. A couple of days ago, she said that she was basically suffering from the twisties. Okay. And we have a clip from the Today Show that deals with what the twisties are. It's very, very serious. And it deals with when a gymnast does not know where they are space-wise when they're in the air. And it can be something that's deadly. You can break your neck, paralyze yourself. This is different than a basketball player. This is different than a football player. Even though football is dangerous, this is extremely dangerous. Okay, so we'll give you an update on what's going on with Simone Biles, and we'll talk about what are the twisties as well. Also, other gymnasts have been weighing in to defend Simone Biles. And I know Dominique Dawes, Olympian Dominique Dawes, who was the first African-American to win a gold medal for gymnastics, male or female. She's weighed in and basically said that, what Simone is suffering from is serious, and how things are different today because you have social media and people can weigh in on social media, attack you through social media as well. But she said, Dominique Dawes said she was happy that someone like a Simone Biles can put her mental health above performing. So we'll discuss that. Then Attorney Benjamin Crump, Friday we talked about how Attorney Benjamin Crump is suing pharmaceutical companies on behalf of the family of Henrietta Lacks, And Henrietta Lacks was an African-American woman who died of cervical cancer at 31 years old. And she was a poor tobacco farmer from Virginia. And part of her sales were used for different breakthroughs, different medical breakthroughs, developing a polio vaccine, in vitro fertilization, etc. Well, Attorney Benjamin Crump is also filing a lawsuit on behalf of African-American women. And this is huge. Have you heard about this? Attorney Benjamin Crump is filing a lawsuit against Johnson & Johnson on behalf of Black women over powder causing cancer, over Johnson & Johnson baby powder. Okay. Have you heard about this? He spoke to thegrio.com. CBS News has an article about this, as well as ABC News. Benjamin Crump is filing the lawsuit on behalf of the National Council of Negro Women, alleging that Johnson & Johnson targeted sales of talcum powder products to Black women, knowing concerns that it could cause ovarian cancer. Okay, we're going to talk about this. And also Candace Kelly, my friend Candace Kelly, who's a legal correspondent on the Black News Channel, discussed this as well. We're on, sometimes we're panelists on Roland Martin Unfiltered together. But Candace Kelly discussed this also. So we're going to share that story with you. Benjamin Crump files Johnson & Johnson lawsuit on behalf of Black women over powder causing cancer. And one of the things that they're saying in this lawsuit is that Johnson & Johnson targeted African American women and targeted overweight African American women as well for baby powder usage. So we'll discuss that. That's serious. We'll discuss that. And then I've been talking about this 4-day march, this 27-mile 4-day march across Texas that has been taking place, led by Reverend William Barber III and Beto O'Rourke out of Texas. The march has concluded. Roland Martin was down in Texas broadcasting live and interviewing people. We talked about this on Roland Martin Unfiltered on Friday. Okay, so we're going to discuss some of that as well. We'll play a excerpt because we discussed that on the panel. And this is fighting for voting rights. This is fighting for the People Act. And you know, this is a serious fight. Willie Nelson was there on Saturday performing. And one of the things that we asked on the show Friday, on Roland Martin Unfiltered Friday, one of the things that we asked is, where are the rest of the celebrities when you had the killing of George Floyd in May of 2020, and then you had the protests out in the streets. You had all the people, you had celebrities commenting on it, things like this. But celebrities have largely been silent when it comes to this attack on voting rights. Celebrities have largely been silent. Okay, so we're going to discuss that as well. Okay, so on the African History Network show, we focus on educating, empowering, and inspiring people of African descent throughout the diaspora and around the world, because right knowledge corrects wrong behavior. What you do for yourself, what you do to yourself, and what you allow other people to do to you and get away with is based upon what you think about yourself. What you think about yourself is based upon what you have been taught about yourself. What you've been taught about yourself is based upon everything you've read, heard, and seen about yourself. So when you control the radius of a man or woman's thoughts, you can control the circumference of his or her actions, because the mind can't do or teach what it doesn't know. Now, we deal with a number of different topics here on the African History Network show. We deal with current events and politics and history, economic empowerment, entrepreneurship, relationships, love, sex, health issues, and much, much more. Sign up for our email newsletter. Text the word Kemet, K-E-M-E-T, to 22828 to sign up for our email newsletter. Text the word Kemet, K-E-M-E-T, to 22828 to sign up for our email newsletter. Also visit our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. You can sign up for the email newsletter there as well. I taught my online course this weekend, two classes, from the Civil War to the Black Power move, from the Civil War to the Civil Rights Movement and Black Power, 1865 to 1968. That's a fantastic class. You can still register for this 10-week online course where we go through each class and analyze a 10-year period of history and look at what happened after slavery ended. We look at the Reconstruction era. We look at advancements African Americans were making and how these advancements were being reversed, and also the attack on voting rights. And we see the attack on voting rights in the 1868 with the Opelousas Massacre of 1868. We see it in 1870. We see it in 1876 with the Texas State Constitution of 1876. We see this attack throughout history. And we see the Jim Crow laws instituted in the poll taxes and the literacy test, which is why you needed a Voting Rights Act in 1965. That's why you needed the Voting Rights Act in 1965. And all this is, we see these Jim Crow 2.0 tactics being used today in Georgia and Texas, especially these former Confederate states. Okay, so we're dealing with a lot of these same fights all over again. So one of the concepts we really don't understand is protecting gains that were made. We don't understand the concept of protecting gains that were made, because people are always trying to take things away from you. People are always trying to take you back. All right, so we'll talk about that as well. If you want to support the African History Network, you can do so. $, the AHN Show through Cash App, $, the AHN Show through Cash App. Also through PayPal, paypal.me/the AHN Show, paypal.me/the AHN Show. This helps us keep broadcasting, keep doing the research, keep broadcasting 6 days a week, pay some of the bills, etc. All right. And also visit our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. This is our official Cash App account, $, the AHN Show, SHOW. And it shows my name there, Michael, and shows my picture as well. These other ones are fake African History Network Cash App accounts. Okay, so we're coming up here on a break. Calling numbers 313-778-7600. 313-778-7600 is the call-in number. If you have a question or comment, 313-778-7600. When we come back from the break, we'll go to the story dealing with Simone Biles pulling out of the latest competition, which is the floor competition. And we'll talk about what are the twisties and what's going on with Simone Biles, who is the greatest of all time. Don't be mistaken. She is the greatest of all time. You listen to the African History Network show right here on 910 AM Superstation, the Future Radio. I'm your host, Brother Michael Imhotep. We'll be back in a few minutes.
Black on Purpose Television Network. Yes, Black on Purpose Television Network. All black, all positive, all the time. The largest black-owned streaming television network in the world, bringing our people together worldwide, controlling our messages, our stories, our way. Black TV the way it should be. Black music, Black history, and more. 30-plus channels, thousands of shows. Black on Purpose Television Network. Subscribe now.
Gain knowledge in minutes from insightful summaries of progressive and socially conscious books. Blacklisted gives you access to curated content that'll satisfy your curiosity to learn and understand different perspectives. Empower yourself through inspirational and actionable ideas. It's easy to read or listen to on the go. Blacklisted. Empower yourself. Start your free trial today.
We all know the cannabis industry is headed toward an uprise in the past decade. What happens when there is a brand that brings this uprise in a blow? The cannabis industry welcomes her uprise. Hustle her hemp. Delivering excellence with pride is her watchword, and how you choose to embrace it makes it a priority. From cultivating rich cannabis into exquisite and tastefully finished CBD products to delivery, Hustle Her Hemp leaves no stone unturned. Hustle Her Hemp's mission is to empower women of color by building business and creating legacies, uniting beauty, health, and business. We are a pure definition of how we want the CBD industry to become in the future. While we are redefining innovation, we bring the same energy to improving the quality of life. Hustle Her Hemp is the new uprise.
.910, the Superstation, the oldest radio station in town since 1922.
Welcome back to the African History Network show right here on 910 AM Superstation, the Future Radio. I'm your host, Brother Michael Imhotep. It is Sunday, August 1st, 2021, and we are live. Calling numbers 313-778-7600, 313-778-7600 is the call-in number if you have a question or comment. All right, I want to jump into this first story here dealing with Simone Biles. So we know that Simone Biles had to drop out of the vault competition and the uneven bars. We talked about that on Friday's show. Okay, she had to drop out of the vault competition and the uneven bars, and the USA gymnastics team put out a statement on Friday and said she will continue to be evaluated daily to determine whether to compete in the finals for floor exercise and balance beam, the team said in the statement. Now, and then we got the news late Saturday night that she's also pulling out the floor competition as well. Okay. So NBC News has a story dealing with this. Simone Biles pulls out a floor competition. We're going to pull that up, and then we're going to go to this clip here dealing with what are the twisties. We'll go to that in just a second here. What are the twisties? It's something very serious dealing with gymnasts. People who are not in gymnastics may not understand this. But if we look at this piece here from NBC News from July 31st, Saturday, July 31st, 2021, updated. This was updated August 1st. Simone Biles will make a decision on whether to compete in the balance beam final later, USA Gymnastics said. USA Gymnastics superstar Simone Biles has withdrawn from the floor event. She's withdrawn from the floor event. It was reported on Sunday. That leaves Biles only one event left to possibly compete in, the balance beam contest on Tuesday. Okay. Now, the organization USA Gymnastics said in the tweet, has withdrawn from the event final for floor and will make a decision on beam later this week. Either way, we're all behind you, Simone. End quote. Now, it is the latest unexpected turn in the Olympic Games that was supposed to be a showcase for Simone Biles, and which has thrust the four-time gold medalist headlong into the conversation about mental health and athletics. Okay. And one of the things that gymnasts who competed back in the 90s are saying, like Dominique Dawes, one of the things they're saying is that back in the 90s, the women or the girls, some of them were 15, 16 years old competing. They didn't have the option really of not competing. Okay. And she said it's good to see Simone Biles put her mental health above performing. Okay. Now, Simone Biles, who came into the games as a heavy favorite, has cited her mental health as the reason for withdrawing from the competitions. Quote, Biles wrote on Friday in an Instagram post, she said, for anyone saying I quit, I didn't quit, especially these trolls commenting right here. Half y'all can't even sit up in the bed in the morning. That's the most thing you do regarding gymnastics is trying to sit up in the bed each morning. For anyone saying I quit, I didn't quit. My mind and body are simply not in sync, as you can see here. She said, I don't think you realize how dangerous this is on hard competition surface, nor do I have to explain why I put health first. Okay. Physical health is mental health. Okay. In other words, she did a Della Reese. She said, kiss my entire ass. She did a Della Reese. That's basically what she did. But she did it in a nice way. Now, Simone Biles added that she will, that she was still suffering with the twisties and literally cannot tell up from down. Literally cannot tell up from down. Now, a lot of people commenting can't tell up from down, but that's because y'all drunk all the time. Okay. Either drunk or high all the time. Okay. She's dealing with a mental issue. The people commenting and running their mouths, half y'all can't sit up in the bed in the morning. You got another problem. Okay. Maybe you need Alcoholics Anonymous or detox or something like that. Now, the first inkling that Simone Biles was struggling came on Tuesday when she shocked the Olympic world by suddenly withdrawing from the team final. Then the 2016 gold medalist pulled out of the individual all around competition. Okay, she pulled out the individual all-around competition. People like Michael Phelps, who has suffered with depression, has applauded Simone Biles as well. All right, another Olympian. The most decorated gymnast in history, Simone Biles, has received widespread support from other athletes, including Olympic swimming legend Michael Phelps, who has been open about his battle with depression. Michael Phelps said, it broke my heart. He said of Simone Biles' shocking announcement, adding that he hopes her withdrawal from the event will make waves beyond this year's games. He hopes her withdrawing from the event will make waves beyond this year's games. Michael Phelps went on to say, I hope this is an eye-opening experience. I really do. I hope this is an opportunity for us to jump on board and to even blow this mental health thing even more wide open. It is so much bigger than we ever imagined. It is so much bigger than we ever imagined. Now, that's from somebody who's probably, I guess, ranked like the greatest swimmer of all time, Michael Phelps, as far as Olympics goes. So, you know, I find it interesting when a lot of people criticize it, you know, a fat and out of shape, you know, can't do 1/100th of what Simone Biles can do. And they want to criticize it. All right. I want to go to this clip here, then we'll go to the phone lines. Jalen, I want to go to clip 1 here. This is from the Today Show, and this deals with what are the twisties? What are the twisties? Yeah.
On the Olympic stage, every flip and every spin is the result of a lifetime of training. Well-developed muscle memory that athletes like Simone Biles rely on as they hurtle through the air. Wow. Perfect. Biles often flawlessly performed some of the hardest skills in the world. So when she came up short on her vault Tuesday, the world took notice.
Wow. And that was not what was planned.
I was trying a 2.5, and I ended up doing a 1.5. Just got a little bit lost in the air, which is really unfortunate.
Fellow gymnasts immediately knew what happened.
She got lost, and any gymnast knows we call it the twisties.
The twisties is a common phenomenon when gymnasts are in midair and lose awareness of where they are in the skill, making it difficult to land safely. Amy Gorman, who coached Biles for 12 years, including the 2016 Rio Olympics, says Biles has dealt with the twisties before.
Every once in a while, she would form this block, and it usually had nothing to do with gymnastics itself. It had to do with other things going on in her universe.
For gymnasts, being off by just a fraction can have catastrophic consequences. Former Olympic gold medal gymnast Dominique Moceanu defended Biles' decision to withdraw from the final, tweeting a video of herself slipping and landing on her head during one Olympic routine when she was 14. But it's not just gymnasts who suffer from these kinds of mental blocks. They're known as the yips for other athletes.
Whoa. It's when, just out of nowhere, an athlete suddenly can't do the basic fundamentals of their sport.
To overcome the twisties, some gymnasts often go back to the basics, a process to trust again that can take time.
Normally, when it would happen, we would go back to training and we would stop doing the skills that were making her feel like she was in the 50s.
It is just spectacular. Biles now says she's taking it day by day. A champion making it clear her mental and physical health is more valuable than any medal.
Simone's former coach also telling us it may take 2 days or 2 weeks for Biles to get comfortable with the skill again, so she didn't rule out Simone competing in a final here in Tokyo. One possibility is that she might switch out the problematic skill for something else, and maybe that gives her the confidence to come back, or she could just wake up tomorrow and be fine, that there's no real rhyme or reason to how she works through this, and it's entirely on Simone's timetable.
Well, your comparison to the yips, I think, helps a lot of folks understand precisely what it is.
If you know what the yips are, which I did not. That's a golf thing?
Yeah.
Well, it's a golf thing, and it's also a sport thing. So you have a mental block, and then you can't do something. The really scary thing here is that a mental block in this sport can lead to a catastrophic injury.
This also, she has the opportunity to do an individual apparatus. So maybe there's one apparatus like the vault that's potentially, making her feel unsure, but maybe there's another one that
maybe she goes back and does the floor.
Hoda, what do you think? I mean, this is fascinating, something that we really had never even considered before.
Yeah, I mean, I was just learning about it through this. And yeah, you do think, well, what are the events that don't take that much flipping around in the air? And you think about the uneven bars or maybe the beam. I mean, maybe it's one of those two. You know, her team wants her to compete. And it was interesting what Tarico said, that she has been practicing. So you never know what's going to happen. We still have several days for her to decide. So, you know, I guess we'll wait and see what happens.
Okay, so that's from the Today Show, dealing with what are the twisties. What are the twisties? That's at NBCnews.com. Now, Dominique Dawes was interviewed by Zinger News. There's an article from thegrio.com about Dominique Dawes, okay? Gymnast Dominique Dawes. She knows what she's talking about. She also has an academy to train gymnasts as well. Former Olympian Dominique Dawes offers her support to Simone Biles. Former Olympian Dominique Dawes offers her support to Simone Biles. And in here, Dominique Dawes is now 44 years old. She's a mother. We remember her from the 90s and 2000. Now the iconic athlete is back in the news, this time showing support for current star gymnast Simone Biles, who withdrew from competition at the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. Now, one of the things she said is that she needs to do what is best for Simone. Dominique Dawes told Zinger News she needs to do what is best for Simone. She said at the end of the day, she is the one who has to live her life. Just like Naomi Osaka, who made the decision to not partake in the press conference because she was concerned about her mental health. Athletes need to be able to say no, Dominique Dawes said. She went on to say, if they feel that it's unhealthy for them, they need to be able to step away. Now, considering her own Olympic experiences, she says she thinks about the, quote, level of sacrifice and commitment and what it took to earn a spot on the Olympic stage. Okay, this is Dominique Dawes. She said, quote, we did what was told of us. We did what was told of us. Back in the 90s, gymnasts were literally trained to be robots. Back in the 90s, gymnasts were literally trained to be robots. It is very much a breath of fresh air to be a 44-year-old woman and to listen to my inner voice now. So she supports Dominique Dawes. I mean, she supports Simone Biles. Now, a competitor in gymnastics for decades, Dominique Dawes moved away from her family to train at age 6. She told Zinger News that while she was known for expressionless faces during competition, she encourages the kids she trains at the Dominique Dawes Gymnastics and Ninja Academy that it is okay to smile. She said, I think it is important for our kids to enjoy their childhood. Okay, you can now the other thing that's really extremely important to understand, and a lot of these white men commenting and attacking her, and some of the African Americans ones as well. Dominique Dawes is a victim of sexual assault from Dr. Larry Nassar. Okay, the gymnast doctor, Dr. Larry Nassar. In last year's documentary, Art of the Athlete, Dominique Dawes talked about the sexual abuse by former USA Gymnastics Dr. Larry Nassar that many young women, including Simone Biles, endured. Now, the abuse was cited as one reason why Simone Biles exited the Olympics, and she was the only survivor on the 2020 Tokyo team that was a victim of Dr. Larry Nassar. Okay, so read the rest of this piece here from thegrio.com by Biba Adams. Former Olympian Dominique Dawes offers her support to Simone Biles. I also saw an interview that Dominique Dawes did on MSNBC as well. Okay, let's go to the phone lines. Everybody, thanks for holding. Let's go to Fernando, line 1. Fernando, welcome to the African History Network show. Thanks for holding. Tell us where you're calling from, Fernando.
Yes, I'm calling from Detroit.
From Detroit?
And I wanted to say that, beg your pardon?
Yeah, from Detroit. Yeah, go ahead. I was just repeating what you said.
Yes. And how you doing today? Michael Imhotep.
I'm all right, brother.
I wanted to say that you have some very interesting topics here. And I wanted to comment about Simone Biles.
Sure.
I feel that she deserves kudos for speaking out because, as you said, I feel that a lot of athletes wanted to speak out, but for obvious reasons, they were not outspoken about what they were going through. And if you look at Mike Tyson, he was going through suppression, and he was going through mental abnormalities, and he was telling people about it, but for the most part, he didn't get any credit for speaking out about it, and I don't think people were very sympathetic to Mike Tyson. So I really feel that in this time that we're living in, statistics show that over 58% of Americans are going through some type of psychological abnormality or some type of problem.
Yep.
So this is something that we really need to look at and we need to pay more attention to. And also, if you look at even the prison system, they're saying now that over 54% of the people that are incarcerated have some type of psychological abnormality, and that really needs to be addressed. And I think that we should put more emphasis on mental health and well-being.
Well, brother, you know, if white people have mental issues, you know African Americans do, because white supremacy will make you go crazy. White supremacy will cause you to have mental issues, man. I'm telling you. So if white people got mental issues, what do you think we have? Okay.
Ain't no question about it.
Yeah,
Ain't no question about it.
And one of the things that and I'll let you finish in just a second here. One of the things that Dominique Dawes said was that in the interview I saw on MSNBC, she said that when she was competing, they didn't have social media like they do today. She said when she was competing, you know, message boards were just popping up. Like in '96, message boards were just popping up. So YouTube wasn't created in 2005. Twitter, I think 2010. See, you didn't have social media back in like '96 and 2000 like you do today. With social media, people can attack you and talk about you on social media, and then you find out about it. So that impacts you as well. Okay, negatively. Go ahead, Fernando.
Yes, sir. And the other thing that you brought up, too, about Johnson & Johnson, I was really surprised at doing some research that Coretta Scott King had cervical cancer. And a matter of fact, she had to go to Mexico to get treatment. And she was using Johnson & Johnson powder at one time. So I think that this issue of what Crump is pursuing, I think that he has a very, very good legal grounds to stand on. And the other thing that bothers me, too, Michael, is the fact that I found out through research that over 80% of the hysterectomies that women of color get, they don't need them.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that a lot, man. I'm not sure the exact statistics, but I've heard that a lot with African American women being targeted with unnecessary hysterectomies. Yes,
Absolutely.
yes, yep. I've heard that. Okay, Fernando, thanks for calling. Keep listening, okay?
And thank you for taking my call.
All
God
right.
bless you, brother.
All right, you too, brother. Thank you. Appreciate it. And we all need the help. There's a lot going on right now. Let's go back to the phone lines quickly. Let's go to who we have next. Charles. Yeah, Charles, line 2. Hey, Charles, welcome to the African History Network show. Thanks for holding, Charles. Tell us where you're calling from.
Thank you, brother Hotep. Michael Imhotep.
Yes, sir.
I'm calling from Detroit.
Okay.
I'm very concerned about life, people, you know. I mean, like the basic food, clothes, and shelter, respect, integrity, you know, dignity, and having humor. You know, life is beautiful. And regardless of the culture or the ethnicity or the nationality or the complexion of anybody's pigmentation, you know, we got woolly hair, we got curly hair, wavy hair, we got straight hair, you know, we got different complexions, the whole 9 yards. The thing is, respect, you know, worldwide, you know what I'm saying? I mean, things happen for a reason, and a lot of people perpetrate this and perpetrate that, but I give kudos to the young lady.
Yeah, Simone Biles. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Simone, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I give kudos because she stood up, you know, instead of sitting down, you know, and she's not a part of some type of cliche, you know, or some kind of training program, you know
Right.
what I'm saying? She doing what she do best, and that's what she's been doing. And if she qualified for whatever medals or trophies or whatever, you know, that those particular issues present, you know, good worldwide. You know what I'm saying? It's
Right.
beautiful.
Right.
But it's a time for everybody. It's time she sees fit that it's time for her to take a break. You know, it's going to always be people that's going to look on the side where, oh, she this and oh, she. Listen, if these people going to criticize, the criticizers want to criticize what the young lady or anybody that, you know, bow out, you know, tap out or whatever, let them try and see how far it goes. You got to be very special to be a person to compete in competition like that, you know.
Right, exactly.
You know, first of all, it's entertainment, then it's competition, you know, then it's business administration, and then it's education. We got to need that education to understand all of the above, you know.
Right.
You know, I mean, hey, man, you know, we got too much to be proud of, you know, regardless of who we are.
Right.
You know, whether, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's
I got
just
you.
me, you know what I'm saying? And that's what I feel, you know.
Okay.
And I appreciate you, my brother.
All right, Charles. Thanks for calling, man. Thanks for holding. Okay, keep listening. Okay. I want to go to, quickly here to this article. Then we're going to go to the story about Benjamin Crump suing Johnson & Johnson. Read this article here from the Washington Post. We talked about it earlier in the week. For exceptional Black women like Simone Biles, greatness is never enough. For exceptional Black women like Simone Biles, greatness is never enough. This is from the Washington Post, written by Candace Buckner. Okay. And it talks about the pressure that Simone Biles is under, having to be the face of gymnastics and to be the face of saving gymnastics, especially after the Larry Nassar debacle and the sexual abuse debacle. Candace Buckner for the Washington Post said, whenever Simone Biles pulls on her leotard, it's as though she's tightening a cape around her neck. She's the hero tasked with saving a sullied sport, embodying some trite belief in American dominance, and also carrying a gender and an entire race. Also carrying a gender and an entire race. That's a heavy cape, and it chokes, but it's one that exceptional Black women and women of color are told to wear because simply being great isn't good enough. They have to be superlative as well as trailblazers. They have to be avatars and progress and change, and also fulfill a deeper societal responsibility as role models who break glass ceilings while breaking records. It's okay for Simone Biles just be amazing. Let her greatness stand on its own. We can be wild and celebrate her without also expecting her to single-handedly revive gymnastics after a sexual abuse scandal, while also leading little Black girls to balance beams all over the nation. And she was a victim of the sexual abuse scandal as well. So read the rest of this piece here by Candace Buckner for the Washington Post. For exceptional Black women like Simone Biles, greatness is never enough. Okay. Then there was an excellent piece also from the Undefeated that we talked about earlier in the week. And the one from the Undefeated was dealing with, let me pull this one up. It was dealing with when good is never, when Black women are punished for being the best. Okay. We talked about this earlier in the week from the Undefeated. So all these shows we rebroadcast on our social media platforms, our Facebook fan page and our YouTube channel. We rebroadcast those throughout the week. Read this piece here by Denny Michelle Norris from July 23rd, 2021 for TheUndefeated.com. This is entitled, When Black Women Are Punished for Being the Best. When Black women are punished for being the best. And it talks about Simone Biles, but it also talks about an African-American female ice skater named Surya Bonali, and how Simone Biles, there are two moves that Simone Biles does, and she's the only gymnast that can do these moves. The Olympics have banned these two moves because of their high level of complexity, and they're afraid gymnasts will hurt themselves trying to do these moves. So then you ban Simone Biles from doing these two moves that only she can do. Simone Biles, so that's something that this article talks about as well. She will likely perform three. Now, this was written opening day of the Olympics. She will likely perform three of the four skills that are named the Biles at the 2020 Games in Tokyo, as well as her new vault, the Yoshinko double pike, which will then become the fifth Biles move named after her. She has advanced the technical side of gymnastics in unprecedented ways, yet two of her skills are undervalued by the code of points. Two of her skills are undervalued by the code of points. In other words, she will not get adequate credit for their difficulty in competition. The Federation of International Gymnastics, FIG, the Federation of International Gymnastics, claims it wants to dissuade lesser gymnasts from trying such difficult skills and sustaining injuries. The Federation of International Gymnastics claims that it wants to dissuade lesser gymnasts from trying such difficult skills and sustaining injuries, but is beginning to look like a pattern in subjective, largely white-dominated sports, the policing of Black women's bodies, limiting how far ahead of the field they can actually be. So they banned these two moves that only Simone Biles can do. So you have to say, wait a second. So you tell us to see, this reminds me of that poll from 2020, from 2018 by the Gallup poll, where 40% of white people said African Americans could be equally successful if they tried harder. 40%. Now, it was April 4th, 2018, when this poll came out. Okay. And April 4th, 2018 was the 50th anniversary of the assassination of Dr. King. All right. Read this article here from Newsweek. They didn't want to take into account racism or anything like that. It said they didn't talk about 246 years of slavery, decades of Jim Crow segregation, being locked out of the Homestead Act of 1862 and the Southern Homestead Act of 1866. They didn't deal with none of that stuff. They just said African Americans could be equally as successful as white people if they just tried harder. 40% of whites think Black people just need to try harder, poll finds. Read this article here from Newsweek.com, April 4th, 2018. They didn't want to deal with systemic racism, all this stuff. So then when you say try harder, then we try and exceed your wildest expectations, then we get penalized. Oh, you too successful. Then we get penalized. Okay, read this from Newsweek.com. I want to go to this next story here. And we're going to go to the clip from CBS News next, Jalen. This deals with Benjamin Crump, attorney Benjamin Crump, who we know from Trayvon Martin and other cases dealing with police brutality, things like this. George Floyd, one of the ones most recently dealing with the killing of George Floyd. Benjamin Crump is suing Johnson & Johnson on on behalf of African American women over the baby powder, Johnson & Johnson baby powder, and because of saying that Johnson & Johnson baby powder causes cancer. Okay, this is a very, very important lawsuit. Let's go to the clip from CBS News, Jalen.
It is about the lives of our grandmothers, our mothers, our sisters, our daughters, our nieces, and our wives, and how they were sinisterly targeted by Johnson & Johnson, this multi-billion-dollar corporation, who their corporate executives knew about the link between talcum baby powder and ovarian cancer. And you see in the 1990s, when they started to write in the newspapers about this connection, there are internal documents that talk about there was a drop-off between white women using the baby powder. But they observed that there was no drop-off, Janice, between black women and Hispanic women using the baby powder. And so, Paul, they doubled their efforts in marketing to black women. And that is what is so sinister about it.
Okay. I know we're coming up here on the break. So that was from CBS News. There's also an article that April Ryan did for thegrio.com with Benjamin Crump. Okay. And this one is entitled Ben Crump files Johnson & Johnson lawsuit. Ben Crump files Johnson & Johnson lawsuit on behalf of black women over powder causing cancer.
Black on Purpose Television Network. Yes, Black on Purpose Television Network. All black, all positive, all the time. The largest black-owned streaming television network in the world. Bringing our people together worldwide. Controlling our messages, our story, our way. Black TV the way it should be. Black music, Black history, and more. 30 plus channels, thousands of shows. Black on Purpose Television Network. Subscribe now.
For 25 years, the Black History 101 Mobile Museum has carried on the rich legacy of the Black Museum movement in America by showcasing original artifacts of the Black experience at colleges, universities, K-12 schools, corporations, libraries, conferences, and cultural events, making it the most traversed Black History mobile exhibit in American history. Dr. Khalid El Hakim is the founder of the Black History 101 Mobile Museum, and he is a highly sought-after public speaker on topics of Black history, social studies, education, museum studies, hip-hop, and race relations. Dr. Khalid was named among the change makers for NBC Universal's Erase the Hate campaign and listed as one of the 100 men of distinction for Black enterprise. He recently founded the Michigan Hip Hop Archive on the campus of Western Michigan University. The Black History 101 Mobile Museum is currently scheduling in-person and virtual exhibits nationwide. For more information, please contact Dr. Khalid El Hakim directly at 313-645-4197, 313-645-4197, or visit their website at blackhistorymobilemuseum.com. That's blackhistorymobilemuseum.com. You can also email him at bhistory101@yahoo.com. bhistory101@yahoo.com.
Program are those of the producers and or the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of 910 AM Superstation or Adele Media.
Welcome back to the African History Network show right here on 910 AM Superstation Future Radio. I'm your host, Brother Michael Imhotep. It is Sunday, August 1st, 2021, and we are live. We had to do the update there on the Olympics. Okay, calling number is 313-778-7600. 313-778-7600 is the call-in number if you have a question or comment. Right before the break, we were talking about the story of Attorney Benjamin Crump filing a lawsuit against Johnson & Johnson on behalf of African-American women over the baby powder, over the Johnson & Johnson baby powder, regarding concerns that it could cause ovarian cancer. We're going to go back to that story in just a minute here. You can register for the new 10-week online course that I teach. This one here is from the Civil War to the from the Civil War to the Civil Rights Movement and Black Power, 1865 to 1968. From the Civil War to the Civil Rights Movement and Black Power from 1865 to 1968. This is a 10-week online course that I teach on Saturdays, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And each class we go through and analyze a 10-year period of time after slavery ended, after the Civil War ended. And right now we're going through Reconstruction, 1865 to 1877. So we'll go all throughout history chronologically. And we'll go through the Jim Crow era and World War I, World War II, Great Migration, Universal Negro Improvement Association, Marcus Garvey, Harlem Renaissance, Civil Rights Movement, 1954 and 55, Brown versus Board of Education, lynching of Emmett Till, August 28th, 1955, beginning of the Montgomery bus boycott, December 5th, 1955. We'll go through the beginning of the Black Power movement in 1966, and then the assassination of Dr. King, and look at what happened after slavery ended, this approximately 103-year period of time, to understand how we got to where we are today. Okay, and to be able to understand where we need to go from here and what needs to happen in the future, we have to understand the history of how we got to where we are today. So this is what we do in this online course. I do a PowerPoint presentation. We have book references, articles, video clips, etc. You can visit our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. And then also we'll post a link here. You can register for the classes. Regularly $130 is on sale, $80. And then all the sessions are recorded. We do the classes live on Saturdays, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. So you can join us in the class live. You can see me. I can't see you. We have a live text chat, so you can ask questions also. And then all the sessions are archived as well. So if you miss anything, you can go back and watch it over and over again. All the sessions are archived. You can go back and watch it over and over again. And you still have access to the course even after the class is over with as well. Okay. All right. So visit AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. And then the other online course that I teach, Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Ma'afa, Understanding the Transatlantic Slave Trade, what they didn't teach you in school. That class meets on Sundays, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I taught that class today as well. You can register for that also. All right, let's go back to this story here dealing with Benjamin Crump. I had not heard a whole lot about this. I read about it in African American media. I saw some articles from CBS News and ABC News about it, but I first learned about this from thegrio.com, first learned about this from African American media. Okay, so if we look at this piece here from the Grio by April Ryan, okay, April Ryan for the Grio. This is Ben Crump files Johnson & Johnson lawsuit on behalf of Black women over powder causing cancer, And let's look at this here. Okay, Ben Crump is filing the lawsuit on behalf of Black women. So he's filing this on behalf of the National Council of Negro Women. The National Council of Negro Women, alleging that Johnson & Johnson targeted sales of talcum powder products to Black women, knowing concerns that it could cause ovarian cancer. Knowing concerns that it could cause ovarian cancer. So Attorney Benjamin Crump and his team, so the lawsuit alleges that since the 1990s, Johnson & Johnson targeted sales of talcum powder products to women, knowing the concerns that it could cause ovarian cancer. Targeted talcum powder products to Black women, targeted talcum powder products to Black women, knowing the concerns that it could cause ovarian cancer. So this effort has an ally in the United States Senate. Senator Elizabeth Warren is set to propose legislation to prevent the company, Johnson & Johnson, from filing that would limit their liability in this case. Sources close to the Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren, contend she wants to lessen further victimization of African American women. This is not Elizabeth Warren's first time looking at ways to legally protect victims in corporate cases. The former presidential candidate has said she would like to see an America where billionaires are held accountable. An America where billionaires are held accountable. Now, Attorney Benjamin Crump exclusively told thegrio.com on this past Tuesday that Johnson & Johnson, quote, targeted Black women with their marketing after white women stopped using it in the early 1990s, after newspapers started writing about the link between talcum powder and ovarian cancer. All right. And he said that in the press conference as well from CBS News. Benjamin Crump said that Johnson & Johnson, quote, targeted Black women with their marketing after white women stopped using Johnson & Johnson talcum in the early 1990s, after newspapers started writing about the link between talcum powder and ovarian cancer, end quote. Now, Janice Matthews, the executive director of the National Council of Negro Women, in a press release said, quote, this company, through its written images, told Black women that we were offensive in our natural state and needed to use their products to stay fresh, end quote. We were offensive in our natural state and needed to use their products to stay fresh. Janice Matthews reiterates that trust was crushed as, quote, generations of Black women believed them and made it our daily practice to use their products in ways that put us at risk of cancer. And we taught our daughters to do the same. Shame on Johnson & Johnson, end quote. All right, now Benjamin Crump's legal team is filing lawsuits and other lawsuits in mass tort litigation in multiple states against the mega pharmaceutical company. However, there is a class action lawsuit Crump contends many Black women are not part of. Okay, he contends that there is a class action lawsuit that Black women are not part of. During Tuesday's press conference at the national headquarters of the National Council of Negro Women, Benjamin Crump is expected to, well, this was before it. He was expected to put faces to this story to, quote, show black women victims who have died, to show black women victims who have died because of this corporate greed, who have died because of this corporate greed. Now, I want to go to this clip here. There was a piece from the Black News Channel. They talked about this story on Black News Channel. And my friend Candace Kelly, who's an attorney and legal analyst, and we're sometimes panelists on Roland Martin Unfiltered, she talked about this lawsuit. Okay, let's go to this clip, Jalen. I think this is clip, I think it's clip 3. It's from the Black News Channel.
Well, big news from renowned civil rights attorney Ben Crump. He has filed a lawsuit on behalf of a group of black women against Johnson & Johnson. At issue is the company's talcum-based baby powder. Our justice correspondent Candace Kelly is back with us this morning to tell us about it. And Candace, look, we were talking on the break. I don't know a black woman alive back in the day that didn't use Johnson & Johnson talcum powder. If you took a bath, you was going to put some talcum powder on your body at some point, even kids when we were kids as well.
That's right.
But so tell us about this. What have Ben Crump and his team accusing the company of doing here?
Well, Benjamin Crump, he filed a negligence lawsuit on behalf of the National Council of Negro Women. He said that thousands of its members have used Johnson & Johnson's powder products, just like we were talking about, and that the company targeted sales of these products to black women knowing that it would cause ovarian cancer. Now, this issue may sound familiar to some because for years there has been a controversy around these products. In fact, last year the company announced that it would stop selling its talc-based baby powder in Canada and the United States, replacing it, Mike, with cornstarch baby-based products.
Wow, to know that something is causing those type of issues within the community is just frivolous. It's just crazy, to be quite honest with you. What do you expect in this country sometimes from organizations and from politicians? Yeah. There have been more than 20,000 lawsuits, though, against Johnson & Johnson about this very issue, Candace. So, and in fact, they've actually settled these cases similar to this. So how is this one different?
Yes, so they've settled many cases for millions of dollars. And anyone actually can now go online, fill out paperwork, make a claim against the company because they've got money set aside for these cases. But this filing is a little different. It says that Johnson & Johnson specifically marketed talcum-based baby powder to overweight black women. Despite these links to the ovarian cancers that I mentioned, the suit also alleges that Johnson & Johnson spent half of its advertising budget, in doing so. So this was something that was very well-intentioned. They set out to do this. And as we know, with the black women that we know that might be oversized or small size, any age, we've used this product over the years. It was definitely in our community.
This is like tobacco companies advertising to kids, to be quite honest with you, knowing that, kids, but, anyway. Look, politicians are behind this. Senator Elizabeth Warren, she's shown full support for this lawsuit. So how is she factoring into all of this?
So, Ben Crump has major support in Senator Elizabeth Warren. Now, she's supposed to introduce legislation that will prevent the company, Johnson & Johnson, from limiting their liability in this case. Because when you talk about accountability, well, records show that Johnson & Johnson knew what they were doing. This is a powder that contains small amounts of asbestos, Mike. And it's on record on internal documents that the company debated putting a warning on the powder, not to use it in genital areas as a deodorant or on sanitary napkins or on condoms, but they chose not to put that warning on its label. And this is why they are where they are.
And I'm going to get to a final question. I'm going to get to this question right here, but I got a big one at the end. Because we talked about the 20,000 lawsuits. We talked about the number of cases that they've already settled. This is, once again, just a string of big hits that this company has taken.
Yeah, you and I have discussed this settlement in the past. the settlement with New York for their opioid-related claims for $263 million. And they've been getting some flack, of course, about their single-shot vaccine, as some studies have shown that it may not be as effective against variants of the virus as other vaccines. And now a lawsuit with Ben Crump attached. This certainly is not a position that any company, any person wants to be in. So a big deal.
Ben Crump fights for all rights, especially black people out there. He's a very busy man, and I know he'll get the job done. But here's the thing, Candace. So we know, and you did a great job of breaking it down, letting us know what they knew and what they didn't tell black people, and they still service that product towards those black people. It's one thing to get money. It's one thing for civil. Why isn't somebody criminally responsible for something like this?
You know, that is a good question. What we're talking about here is more of a product liability, right? And so when we talk about products and things of that nature, we're talking about money. In terms of somebody criminally having something against them and those types of charges, that just hasn't come up yet. I'm trying to think of something that could be attached to it, but really we're talking specifically about a product. Now, if we're talking about somebody else that had some other ill intentions behind this, that had to do more with just kind of this marketing idea that knowing black women, especially larger black women, would be inclined to use this, and we're talking about something else. But now it's just a product liability question, and in that regard, we're talking about negligence, so money.
Yeah. Yeah, I know you hit them in the pocket and that hurts or whatnot, but at the same time, when you talk about deterrence, sometimes you got to put people in jail. You know, when you put people in jail, when people know something like this, I don't care if it's the CEO, I don't care if it's the person who's in charge of marketing or whatnot, whoever knew that this was affecting black people or any group of people, and you still sold that product and you did not disclose it. It's almost like the NFL. In a sense, when it came to concussions, whatnot, you knew that the NFL, the hard hits to the head, was affecting these NFL players, and you neglected to tell anybody about that.
Yes,
to me,
all in the name of money, as you said, and again, a paperwork trail left behind them to actually tell on them, which is why they're here where they are now. This is not over, and this is really interesting that Ben Crump would take this case, and that we normally hear him in regards to various, to other cases having to do with violence against people in terms of police violence. But looking at what this will do in terms of setting a precedent, this is a big way for him to open doors into other avenues that people are dealing with in our community. This is a huge one. Again, it's been on the books for a long time, but now we're moving into getting into the minds of these people at Johnson & Johnson. They have certainly are at fault because it's already on record. They're dealing with this on other levels. So we'll have to see what happens with black women in particular, who they marketed to.
Okay, so that is from the Black News Channel. Check out the article here from the Black News Channel. This one right here. Ben Crump filed lawsuit against Johnson & Johnson on behalf of black women. Quote, black women have always been the backbone of this country, standing up for everyone but receiving the least amount of respect. Well, it's time that we stand up for black women, he said. We'll continue this on the other side of the break. You listen to the African History Network show right here on 910 AM Superstation Future Radio. I'm Michael Imhotep. We'll be back in a few minutes.
Hi, I'm Joel Wilson, President and CEO of JCW Computer Consulting, LLC, a technology implementation firm with over 20 years of satisfying customers. We offer a full spectrum of industry top-tier branded services. We are an authorized partner or reseller for Lenovo, Zoom, T-Mobile, Microsoft 365 and Surface tablets, Google Workspace, Acer, Asus, Samsung, PCmatic security software, and many more. Our online store features laptops, Chromebooks, computers, printers, accessories, and software. Businesses, take advantage of our free 1-hour Zoom tech consultation and know we offer top nationwide high-speed internet service providers, voice over IP, and cellular phone services. Home users, don't miss our current in-stock Chromebook inventory. Please visit us at jcwcc.com or call 215-879-6701.
Gain knowledge in minutes from insightful summaries of progressive and socially conscious books. Blacklisted gives you access to curated content that'll satisfy your curiosity to learn and understand different perspectives. Empower yourself through inspirational and actionable ideas. It's easy to read or listen to on the go. Blacklisted. Empower yourself. Start your free trial today.
Black on Purpose Television Network. Yes, Black on Purpose Television Network. All black, all positive, all the time. The largest black-owned streaming television network in the world, bringing our people together worldwide. Controlling our messages, our stories, our way. Black TV the way it should be. Black music, Black history, and more. 30+ channels, thousands of shows. Black on Purpose Television Network. Subscribe now.
910, the Superstation, Detroit's only African-American talk radio.
Welcome back to the African History Network show right here on 910 AM, the Superstation, the Future Radio. I'm your host, Brother Michael Imhotep. It is Sunday, August 1st, 2021, and we are live. Calling numbers 313-778-7600, 313-778-7600. Have a question or comment? We'll go back to the phone lines here in just a minute. Also, if you like this type of information, you can support the African History Network, $ the AHNShow, through Cash App, $ the AHNShow, through Cash App, also through PayPal, paypal.me/the AHNShow. This helps us keep doing the research, keep broadcasting 6 days a week, stay on the air, pay some of the bills, etc. And this is our official Cash App account, $ the AHNShow, SHOW. These other ones are fake Cash App accounts people set up, and it has my name there and shows my name, Michael, and then shows my picture there also. All right. And then you can also visit our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. And then the new online course that I teach on Saturdays, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, from the Civil War to the Civil Rights Movement and Black Power, 1865 to 1968. This is a 10-week online course where we deal with what happened after slavery ended and go through history chronologically. Each class, we analyze about a 10-year period of history. We do the class live. All the sessions are recorded and archived. You can go back and watch them over and over again. Visit our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, and scroll down the page. Click on Register here. It takes you to the next page. And click on Enroll on the next page. And you can start watching the content. There you can start watching the content from the last class, and you'll be ready for Saturday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right. I want to go back to this story here dealing with Benjamin Crump. This is an important story, and I have not heard a lot about it either. Okay, I have not heard a lot about it either. He's suing Johnson & Johnson, okay, over the talcum powder, and that has been, as he says, and as the lawsuit says, the sales of talcum powder that targeted African-American women, knowing concerns that it could cause ovarian cancer. And as the piece that we heard from the Black News Channel said, it also targeted overweight African-American women. As legal analyst Candace Kelly said, they also allegedly targeted overweight African-American women. Now I'm looking back at the article here from the Griot, because April Wren has a piece in the Griot at thegriot.com about this. During Tuesday's press conference at national headquarters for the National Council of Negro Women, Benjamin Crump was expected to put faces to this history, to the story, to, quote, show the Black victims who have died because of this corporate greed. Show the Black victims who have died because of this corporate greed. Now, in recent months, Johnson & Johnson has taken a brand and credibility hit, a brand and credibility hit with questions about its vaccine being able to withstand the COVID-19 Delta variant and if a booster shot is needed. Also, the Food and Drug Administration added new warnings on Johnson & Johnson vaccines related to COVID-19. A recent Johnson & Johnson vaccination pause due to confusion about the ingredients of the vaccine did not bode well with the American psyche in the attempts at vaccinating Americans. So check this article out here from thegrio.com. This is Ben Crump files Johnson & Johnson lawsuit on behalf of Black women over powder causing cancer. This is from July 27th, 2021, from by April Ryan for the Grio. All right, now let's go back to the phone lines quickly. Then I want to get to this next story here dealing with the this next story deals with the march, the 4-day march, 27-mile march that we talked about earlier in the week, a couple of days in Texas. Okay, this is the march in Texas, and this is for voting rights and the For the People Act. All right, let's go back to the phone lines. Let's go to Theo Broughton from Hood Research. Theo, welcome to the African History Network show. Tell us how you're doing today.
Thank you. I'm doing fantastic. Happy Sunday to you and your listeners.
Yeah, happy Sunday to you too.
Thank you. I enjoy your show, and I share that with people and encourage them to tune in as well. Now, I have a question about the lawsuit with the Johnson & Johnson. Has there been, through your research, any mention about a statute of limitations or how far they can go back, and if descendants can file on behalf?
I'm not sure regarding the statute of limitations. I'm not sure on that. I have to look at that some more. We may talk about that on Monday's show.
Yeah. Oh, wonderful. Okay. Well, last thing, I just want to encourage people to vote. August 3rd is the vote. Tomorrow's the last day. You can go to the satellite locations like Wayne County Community College Western Campus on Outer Drive and Southfield Freeway, and the Eastern Campus on I-94 and Connor, both locations where people can conveniently go to vote up until 4 p.m. Also, of course, you can go to the election office, which is on West Grand Boulevard, diagonally across on the official building. That's a big landmark. But I just want to encourage people to certainly participate and know that proposal P is positive, and they should vote yes. It's for the people.
Okay.
And thank you so much for that.
Okay. All right, Theo. Okay. All right. Theo, doesn't your show come on after mine? The loser? Okay. I think Theo's show comes on after mine. She's on up at 11 p.m. Okay. Read this piece also here from Black News Channel, BNC .tv. Ben Crump files lawsuit against Johnson & Johnson on behalf of Black women. Black women have always been the backbone of this country, standing up for everyone, but receiving the least amount of respect. Well, it is time that we stand up for Black women. There's also a tweet here in the article. Ben Crump tweeted, Johnson & Johnson targeted Black women in marketing campaigns for their talcum-based powder. The lives of Black women matter. And let's see, let's pull this. See if we can pull this up on his Twitter page. We'll go directly to this tweet. So he said, the lives of Black women matter. This multi-billion-dollar corporation must be held accountable for knowingly marketing its harmful ovarian cancer causing product to Black women. All right. Okay, so check that out as well. All right. I can't find it on his Twitter page, but the tweet here is in the article. Okay, now I want to go to this next story here. So we talked about early in the week, we talked about the march in Texas. And there was a article from was this News 3LV. There was a article from a news outlet there in the Texas area. And then there's also one from, I think, ABC News, then with Willie Nelson. Early on, mainstream media didn't cover this story, okay? Early on, mainstream media didn't cover this story. Roland Martin covered the story because he was broadcasting live from Texas, live from the march. We know that Joy Reid, the Readout, covered the story. But early on, a lot of mainstream media didn't cover the story. As it got closer to the end, as the march got closer to the end, they started covering it. So Huffington Post has an article dealing with this also. And we talked about this earlier in the week as well. This is about the 27-mile march, 27-mile march. Reverend Barber, Beto O'Rourke launched 4-day march for voting rights in Texas. Reverend William Barber, the Poor People's Campaign, and Beto O'Rourke, former member of the House of Representatives for Texas, launched 4-day 27-mile march for voting rights in Texas. This is a multi-day march against voter suppression, urging Congress to take action on voting rights, Okay, so the march has completed. The march completed on, I think it was Saturday. All right. Now on Friday on Roland Martin Unfiltered, Roland was broadcasting from the march once again. And we discussed this on the panel. We're going to go to clip, I guess it's clip 3. I think it's clip 3 from Roland Martin Unfiltered. But first, you're going to hear a question that Roland posed to Reverend William Barber. Okay, let's go to this clip. So with this march here, it's drawing attention to the need for the People Act, is drawing attention to the need for to defeat the filibuster as well. If we look at this piece here from the Huffington Post, Reverend William Barber III and former Texas Representative Beto O'Rourke launched a 4-day 27-mile march in Texas against voter suppression, calling on Congress to end the filibuster and pass voting rights legislation. Reverend William Barber, co-chair of the Poor People's Campaign, said at a press conference Tuesday, the evening before people were set to start the multi-day march from Georgetown to Austin, Texas. Georgetown, Texas to Austin, Texas. Now, Reverend William Barber condemned Texas Republicans' efforts to pass legislation restricting voting rights, calling such bills the canary in the mine, and noting how Republicans in state legislatures across the country are pushing hundreds of bills to suppress the vote. So right now we're dealing with 389 bills in 48 state legislatures based upon the count from the Brennan Center for Justice, okay, based upon the count from the Brennan Center for Justice. All right, now also Associated Press has a piece here. Vote them out, Willie Nelson headlines protest rally. Vote them out, Willie Nelson headlines protest rally. Okay, and let me try to pull this one up here also. So this was at the end of the rally. Okay, this was on Saturday, July 31st. Country music legend Willie Nelson led more than 1,000 spectators in singing "Vote Them Out, Vote Them Out" Saturday from the steps of the Texas Capitol during a rally wrapping up a 4-day march in support of Democratic state legislators who voted for Washington 2 weeks ago to block GOP-backed voting restrictions. Okay, to block GOP-backed voting restrictions. And let me pull up this article here from ABC News also. So Willie Nelson was like, I think, the only star that was there, or at least the only star of that caliber. And this caused people to ask the question, well, where are the celebrities? Celebrities spoke out last year when we dealt with the killing of George Floyd. And there were massive protests across the country. Celebrities were talking about it on social media, things like this. Well, you know, I said, you know, I use this analogy. People came out, and I've said before, it's going to take mass protests all across the country, putting pressure on corporations. But mass protests all across the country. We have to have a 50-state strategy. This cannot rest on the backs of African Americans. This fight cannot rest on the backs of African Americans. This is a 15th Amendment issue, but it's also a 19th Amendment issue. And the 19th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution in 1920 gave women the vote, specifically white women. And this is also a 26th Amendment issue. The 26th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution lowered the minimum voting age from 21 to 18. And that was under President Nixon in 1971. Okay. So we're dealing with a 15th Amendment issue. We're dealing with a 19th Amendment issue. And we're dealing with a 26th Amendment issue. This impacts African Americans. This impacts Latinos, Hispanics. This impacts everybody. Okay. So this fight can't just fall on the backs of African Americans. All right. You have 38 million. You have 38 million voters who are disabled Americans. This impacts them. Having to stand in longer lines negatively impacts many people who are disabled. Reducing mail-in ballot boxes and the number of mail-in ballot boxes could negatively impact people who are disabled, who can't make it to the polls to vote. Okay, so I just sent you that clip, Jalen. So this hits different groups of people. Where are the Me Too activists? Where are the Me Too activists? All right. Where are the women's reproductive right activists? You talk about preserving abortion rights. You talk about women's reproductive rights. Well, that largely impacts who's in your state legislature, the bills that are being passed, the governor who signs the bills into law. This deals with the Supreme Court, the federal court. All that comes from voting. All that deals with voting. Supreme Court justices are nominated by a president. Okay. Federal judges are nominated by a president and confirmed by the Senate. Supreme Court federal judges confirmed by the Senate. So all this is tied to voting. So where are the Me Too women? Because we know, and I'm not against Me Too women, but just a few weeks ago, they were yelling and screaming when Bill Cosby was released from prison. But now on voting rights issues that impact everybody, now they're silent. And one of the problems is that the voting rights issue is labeled a black thing. It's associated with the 1965 Voting Rights Act, and it's labeled a black thing, and it gets associated with Dr. King and John Lewis and the Edmund Pettus Bridge and the movie Selma from Ava DuVernay, and that's those black people. That's that black people stuff. That's for them. No, this impacts everybody. So one of the things that Reverend William Barber III and Beto O'Rourke are doing, this is something that I said has to be done, is they are expanding this conversation to beyond just African Americans and showing how this impacts everybody. Okay. The $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan happened because African Americans went out and voted. Latinos went out and voted. Asian Americans went out and voted, because no Republicans voted for the bill. Let's just be honest. No Republicans in the House of Representatives and the U.S. Senate voted for the American Rescue Plan. All right. The $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan to fight coronavirus. None of them voted for the bill, even though it benefits their constituents. Mitch McConnell, Moscow Mitch McConnell, was in Kentucky just 2 or 3 weeks ago talking about how $4 billion is coming to Kentucky because of the $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan. And he admitted he didn't vote for the bill. He admitted, he talked about the good that the bill is going to do for Kentucky, and then admitted he didn't vote for the bill. No Republicans in the House of Representatives or the U.S. Senate voted for the American Rescue Plan. And in that American Rescue Plan is also the child tax credit, okay, that gives direct deposits to people's bank accounts. That's going to cut child poverty in half. Also in there is the $4 billion in debt relief for African-American farmers is being blocked because white farmers are jealous and they're suing. So it's blocked by federal judges. But no Republican supported that. You had them calling it reparations, like Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina. Even though he has 6,000 African-American farmers in South Carolina, he's not doing anything for them. So I want to go to this clip here. This is from Roland Martin Unfiltered, Friday, July 30th. Roland was in Texas at the March for Democracy, and he was talking to Reverend William Barber III. Then after that, he goes to the panel, and I'm on the panel. Let's go to this clip, Jalen.
Now, folks, at today's news conference, I did ask Reverend Dr. William Barber with regards to this whole issue of the White House not meeting with Texas House Democrats. What do you thought about that? Remember, just yesterday, we had Representative Collier and Representative Sophronia Thompson who told us that the White House, well, President Joe Biden had yet to meet with those 50-plus Texas House Democrats. Vice President Kamala Harris has a couple times, but not President Joe Biden. Listen to what Reverend Barber said in response to my question.
President Biden ought to put him on Air Force One, fly him to Texas, have a meeting on Air Force One to matter that's federal land, right? Huh? Yes. Yeah. The constables here to come on there and get them, and then have a rally with them, a meeting with them, and then go back with them to the well of the Congress and have those Texas legislators sitting right there in the front. He's got to, because they have power, and he has more power than he's using. He's got more power. I had a chance before he was elected. I'll get you, Reverend. I had more before he was elected. I did a Easter program with him on his podcast. And I said to him, what you think, what your political consultants might be telling you is possible is going to fundamentally change through this pandemic. You check the record. I said this pandemic is going to open up pain and expose pain, poverty pain, race pain in a way that will give you an opportunity because you can see it. This fight for voting rights and the fact that the filibuster has already been used to block part of the COVID relief plan that would have lifted 32 million people, the people who had to go to work first, got sick first, got infected first, and died first, and now it's threatening the democracy. I said to him, you will have your Lyndon Baines Johnson, Kennedy Lincoln moment presented to you. I said this in March, Jesse. I don't know why the Spirit said that. He wasn't even president. He wasn't even elected. I hadn't even endorsed him. I said, but I believe if you get to be president, you're going to have a moment delivered to you. And the question is going to be, what do you do with that moment? Go to West Virginia, Mr. President. We love you enough to tell you this. Meet with those folk, those 79% of West Virginians that say Manchin is wrong. 81% of Democrats. Go to Arizona. Bush Cinema. Meet with the Latino community, the black community, the white community, the gay community. Put those folk on a plane, come to Texas, have a meeting right out here in the airport. Fly them right back. And when you go back, already have Pelosi and Schumer inviting you to the well of the Congress. And I guarantee you, if you take this to the well of the Congress, it will well up a sentiment of resurrection and transformation in this country, and you will be able to do more than you even think you can do now. But you got to get the leadership.
All right, folks, let's go to my panel. Joining me right now is Dania Joseph. She's the immigrants' rights activist. Glad to have her on the show. Brittany Lee Lewis. She is a political analyst. And Michael Imhotep, host of the African History Network. All right, Ms. Joseph, I've been trying to get you on the show for quite some time. We finally got you on our panel. Glad to have you here. Let's talk about that last point I raised. Let's just say after the news conference, literally right after, a phone call came into Reverend Jackson's cell phone from the White House. And they were, I won't say they were happy to hear what Reverend Barber described in terms of the pressure putting on, but they clearly were listening and got the message. And you're seeing that now. You're seeing Senator Chuck Schumer say that he may not allow them to go on recess. He may keep them in to vote on this bill. The external pressure that is being brought to bear is working because it is forcing these Democrats to reckon with the unrest in the streets on the issue of voting.
Right, absolutely. And I think it's time. You know, this idea that there isn't more that could be done is preposterous, right? We are living in 2021. We're not living in the 1950s and the 1960s of the civil rights movement. And so this idea that the Biden administration couldn't meet, I mean, yes, you mentioned Vice President Kamala Harris did, but this idea that the president couldn't, why is that, right? This is one of the quintessential issues that is impacting us in this country today. Voter suppression is real. This idea that Black and brown and indigenous people, communities of color that have been historically disenfranchised are currently under attack again because we've always been. So why not find the time? Why must we take to the streets, right? Taking to the streets is always a good idea. Dr. King said, writing is the voice of the oppressed, right? When we are oppressed and feel as though there's no other channels, that's what we do. We take to the streets. But I feel like it shouldn't have even gotten to that point. Voter suppression is a real issue that's impacting us in 2021, not just in Texas, but in Georgia and other states across the nation. This should have been one of the administration's first things that they did on day one, because during the campaign cycle, we saw a host of promises that was being made time and time again. We saw John Lewis's name, may he rest in peace, being uplifted over and over again by individuals who otherwise wouldn't have supported his life's work and much of the things that he fought for in regards to voting rights. And so when you hear Reverend Barber say that, right, he literally said that there's individuals who are invoking the name of Dr. King, Ralph Abernathy, John Lewis. We have different people that are being uplifted, but yet you don't want to keep their legacies alive, right? It's time that the president meets with these individuals who are on the ground, whether that be politicians, activists, and organizers, or just invested Americans who do not want to see their right to vote be infringed upon. That meeting should have happened yesterday.
The thing here, Michael, that is quite interesting is President Biden has not called these holdout Democratic senators to the White House to specifically talk about voting, for the People Act, the John Lewis Act. They keep talking about also this John Lewis Voting Act. The problem is it hasn't been written.
Right.
So what the hell are we talking about if we don't even know what is in it? And so essentially what Democrats are doing is they're negotiating against themselves on this For the People Act vote. We're hearing that now they're talking about remove the dark money provisions out of the bill and some things along those lines. What Barber and others are saying is, no, you fight for every single element that's in the bill,
And if you have to give up something, you do it at the absolute last minute. You don't do it at the beginning of a conversation.
Yeah, so there are different aspects of this, and there's a time element also, because you have in September, we know that the federal budget runs out. You're going to have a debate over the debt ceiling. We know that August recess is coming up. Now, Schumer is signaling that he may suspend the August recess, which I think he should. At the same time, we know that the House goes on recess. I think it either today or next week, something like the House goes on recess. So you have all these different dynamics. If you have to remove the dark money provisions and things like that to get the bill passed, then you get that bill passed now and then come back and get those other parts later. This is really, you have a lot of moving pieces, and this is really complicated. And one of the things that this march is doing is shedding, because I've been covering this march, I've been talking about it for the past 2 days on my show as well, and my people know about it also. Mainstream media is starting to talk about it more. I saw more coverage yesterday. But one thing that I see still missing, and we've talked about that here on this show, Roland, one element that's a powerful element that I still see that's missing is corporations are still very silent on what's taking place. I agree with what you're talking about and pressure on Biden, and Biden should step up more and things like this. And Biden has signaled that he supports a standing filibuster as opposed to the filibuster now, all that. But I see that corporations are still very silent. Also, I see with this movement here in the Poor People's Campaign, and to me, Reverend William Barber is a modern-day Dr. King. I see them expanding the conversation to beyond just African Americans. This is something that we've talked about here. And because this impacts everybody, college students, the elderly, there's 38 million disabled Americans who are registered to vote. They're going to be impacted by this. This impacts Latinos, Asian Americans, Native Americans, LGBTQ. I'm wondering where the Me Too women are. No offense to any Me Too women, the white Me Too women especially. They were very vocal a few weeks ago when Bill Cosby got out of prison, but they're very silent now. This affects all right, everybody. We're going to pause it right there. All right, pause it right there. I hate to pause it on myself. We'll probably share that clip on Monday's show as well. All right. So those watching on our Facebook fan page, The African History Network, and my YouTube channel, Michael Imhotep, keep watching. We keep going for a couple more minutes. You can visit our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. Register for my online course as well. Remember, right now is correct wrong behavior is not over till we win. Wakanda forever. And we'll talk to you tomorrow night. Peace. All right. Okay, let me end this call here. All right, everybody. Okay, so that was from Friday, July 30th. Roland Martin Unfiltered. I'm going to post the link here to the clip. You can check out the full show. And you can follow Roland on YouTube, Roland Martin on YouTube, and Roland Martin on Facebook. All right. And then also, if you like this type of information, you can support the African History Network. We definitely need your support. $ the AHN Show through Cash App. $ the AHN Show through Cash App. Also through PayPal, paypal.me / the AHN Show, paypal.me / the AHN Show. And at our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. Okay, this helps us keep broadcasting 6 days a week because I don't get paid to do radio at all. This helps us keep broadcasting 6 days a week, keep doing the research, stay on the air, finance the show. Also, if you want to advertise with the African History Network, email us at AHNshow@AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, AHNshow@AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. If you want to advertise with the African History Network as well. We will when we rebroadcast the shows, your 30-second and 60-second commercial will air. Okay. And We're also on 10 different audio podcast platforms. We're on FM Player, TuneIn, iTunes, Castbox, Stitcher. So your audio commercial will air during those during the audio podcast. Okay. If you don't have a commercial, we can create one for you at no additional charge. Our current promotion is buy 1 month, get 2 months free. Buy 1 month, get 2 months free. Okay. So email us at AHNshow